To be the quickest.
Most dangerous.
Most resilient.
To play for glory. For pride. The thrill.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Jeps Cross. We're under the lights. Slight disagreement between the commentators about pens.
We're all good now.
It's been settled down. You've lost your sleeping hamster. You'll be all right. You'll be okay. We are getting ready for the men's game. Southern Storm taking on, no, not the Southern Storm, the Western Pirates taking on the Eastern Saints. Both of these teams played one, lost one. Not an amazingly auspicious start to the Super League for either of them. We'll try and wrangle the goalkeepers for the Western Pirates. They messed us up last week by playing two. So we will do our best to tell the difference between Ben Hazer and the other one.
Eddie Chittleborough, is it?
It is Eddie Chittleborough.
Oh, well, I well and truly.
I reckon Chittleborough's wearing the green pads.
Yeah, well, I've coached Eddie for years in the Sassy program, so I'll be able to recognise him. But Ben Hazer is walking out into the starting lineup.
So it's Ben Hazer with the green pads.
It is, yep.
We called him having an absolutely outstanding first quarter last week, only to find it was Ed Chittleborough.
well done, Ben. I was just speaking to his dad, so he would have been happy with that.
Oh, there you go. So the same familiar faces that we had last week, just picking out from the Pirates lineup, picking out some of those players. Cameron Joyce obviously wearing the number 14 shirt, who's captaining tonight, was outstanding as per usual. The other one of worth a mention is the number 7 Ross Hettam, who is a South African. We think he's represented South Africa. He was very, very impressive. And then the Eastern States, on the Eastern States side, obviously can't go without mentioning Brody Gleeson wearing the number 8 side, who was, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, and I'm sure that the Eastern States won't mind me saying this, he was a shining light in a rather dark sky in the Eastern States' first game. They did not get going at all, which is surprising when Fred Gray is there.
Yeah,
He was the best and fairest last year, wasn't he?
No, he was the.
So
he was the young player of the year last year.
He was the young player.
Yeah.
Best and fairest was from Forestville.
Curtis Wilson. Yeah.
Curtis Wilson, of course he was.
He's playing tonight, I think. Curtis isn't.
No, he plays for the Southern.
He's in the Storm team. I've got my teams mixed up, but the Pirates, I believe, have got a few important omissions tonight. Scott Germain, a key midfielder, not playing. Andy Leet, also not playing. Tom Fitzpatrick. No, is it Fitzpatrick? Fitzgerald, sorry, is also not playing. So a few players out for the Pirates might make things interesting.
Yeah, you're at a little bit of a loss, aren't you? The Pirates have negated to give you an information sheet.
I'm only going to call the Eastern Saints team, but I reckon I think I know most of the Pirates.
You'll be
as well,
all right.
so
You'll be absolutely fine.
We'll work it out.
You won't have time to talk about their backgrounds, to be honest. If last week was anything to go by, so the girls doing their warming down over the far side.
Yep, I'm interested to see Cameron White, number 10 for the Pirates, play tonight. An exciting play. He was a key part to the Grange victory over the Seacliff team up at Seacliff on the weekend in a big Premier League upset.
He was outstanding as well last time around. So we are off and running, and as per usual, Cameron Joyce sitting in that sweeper role. Turned over early on though. Joyce will send it forward. Good work around the back and finding a little bit of space from Lawrence. And it will be shipped down the line, picked out by Humphreys. Humphreys under pressure, so happy to go backwards. We'll send it across to Hazer. Hazer under a huge amount of pressure from Hettam and friends. But the Saints can relieve some pressure. Good ball is the call from behind us, and it was a good ball, and eventually ball is bundled over the back line for a long corner.
Yeah, what we'd really like to see is James Hazer get into the circle and have a shot against brother Ben Hazer. So
there we go.
Playing in opposition teams tonight.
So Daniel Cox is going to play that sweeper role for the Saints. That one will be a circle entry, but Joyce does well. Another long corner. I'd like to see a challenge between Joyce and Cox. Both of them are renowned for their tough tackling. I think if both of them manage to be in the same space and have a challenge, the universe may implode.
Yeah, well, neither will back down, that's for sure.
Penner as well, just getting a stick on it. Back to Joyce. Joyce under a little bit of pressure. Fires it out to White. White will send it out one more, out to that left-hand wing. Happy to come all the way back to Joyce. It will be fired across to Adam Lawrence. Lawrence happy to go back to Penner. Back around the horn to Joyce. Joyce will fire it down the line. Find Ross Hetham. Hetham, one-on-one. Loses out somewhat. Goes back to Cox. Cox loses out to Hetham. Nice little ball. Shot on goal. Good save. Saints looking to try and get it out. Still bouncing around there. First time that Damon Lang has had to work, and he was equal to the test.
Yeah, well, Will Abbott from the Pirates team, Pirates striker, is an excellent goal scorer. He had a great chance there. Damon Lang did well.
So they will get to go again with Joyce. It comes out to this near side to Lawrence. Lawrence will fire it forward. Good interception again by the Saints. Out to Massey. Massey will look down the line, but Lawrence getting on his front early on. It's the commitment we love to see in the commentary box.
Great.
Humphrey sends it back to Cox. Cox happy to go one more out to that right-hand side. Oh, manages to make its way through. The Pirates can pick up the loose ball. Dylan Edge just happy to get rid and relieve the pressure so they can reset and rebuild.
I mean, straight away the obvious thing is from the women's game that clearly men's hockey has a higher pace, but they also play a different structure. There's more of a fall away style press where they allow the team the ball in the other half, and the other team have to kind of unpick it from there.
On to Rafe Thompson. Thompson happy to go back. Just miscontrolled by Fred Gray. Has to go and clean up his own mess. Good overhead from Gray. Out towards Massey. Massey happy to come back. Gray again out to the right-hand side. Waiting to try and pick their way through. James Hazer sends it down the line. Just pushed on by Fraser Bowden. He'll get it back, then try and fire it in. Just couldn't deflect it towards the goal, so another 16-yard hit.
That was a good patient build-up. Eventuated to nothing, but
Joyce will find Penner. It'll then be sent down the line to Cameron White, who has it stolen off him by Angus Fry. But White does well, beats the first one, beats the second one, can't beat the third one, but gets the free hit anyway.
he loves getting the ball in the air. Cameron White, or Cuffy as we call him, and probably got some of the best 3D skills in the competition.
Joyce will look to range forward, then fires it out to Lawrence, just ricocheting off his stick, and he can't keep it under control. Saints under pressure though, down in that bottom corner. Having to work hard down there. Humphreys will find Gray. Gray gets it nicked off him by Hetham. And there we see one of those Cox challenges. You're quite welcome to try and run around me, but I'm going to make you work for it.
Exactly. Who would have thought Coxie involved in a physical challenge?
Speaking of 3D skills, that's lovely work from Thompson, but again gets nicked off and the Pirates can come again. Now it's bouncing around in the circle. 16-yard hit though.
Yeah, nice to see Isaac Whitaker, number 12 for the Pirates, getting involved. He's got lovely fast hands.
Timely interception by Will Robbins, but it will come back. Cox. Good ball forward. He's going to get it back though. Pirates press so far is working okay. Saints can't seem to find a way through. Out to Hazer. Back to Cox. Thought about firing it forward, then uses an outlet pass on the right-hand side. Again, they have to come back. Gray. A little bit of a blind alley and just has to send it anywhere. It's fair to say that Daniel Cox has a reputation around the league as being a strong challenge.
Oh, I think that's pretty accurate, Dave.
Certainly heard talking around the changing rooms of Mr. Cox, and if you get in the wrong side of him.
I've enjoyed watching his hockey evolve over the years. He came over from New South Wales, I think, many years ago, and he was I think he's basically moved kind of a line back every few years he's got older. He can't go much further back though. So
is he going to go playing goal?
Doubtful.
Turnover from the Pirates. How quickly can they break? Send it forward to Hettam. Nice touch from Hettam. Then tries to work down the left-hand wing. Just drops it off inside. That one will find its way through to Isaac Whitaker. Another challenge from Cox. Would not be far as a New South Welshman. Wouldn't be far away from the challenges you'll see in Melbourne tonight.
That's right.
Pirates again. Hettam sends it back to Penner. Now it's the Saints' turn to press. Simon Brown working hard up there. Found an outlet to edge and Hettam turns it over. Gleeson did well.
He did really well to
ask for a free.
Evade the ball there.
Fired forward. Oh, he's got a question for a free hit. Little bit of a rough challenge on Gleeson. Just thinking as well, the Eastern States coach, Mark Victory. You can imagine him and Cox are getting together and sharing war stories of challenges.
Yes, yeah. Mark Victory, commonly known as Cheney.
I love the story behind it.
Cheney, which, short for chainsaw. I actually had the pleasure of fielding a few of his tackles. I was more of a right striker, he was more of a left back, and we battled every now and then.
Jimmy Metton working hard. First time we've seen him tonight.
Get Billy to this side.
Joyce will send it to White. White happy to send it out one more. Options down the line to Isaac Whitaker. He'll get it taken off him though. Does well, keeps working hard. The Saints will come away. Gray. Again, happy to go back. They will go all the way across to Hazer. Hazer will fire it out. Did well initially to bring it under control, but Hettam has done well. Nice touch from edge to Whitaker. What can Whitaker do? Whitaker could send it back in field. Saints have managed to relieve the danger somewhat and then fired it down the line towards the waiting substitutes on this bench.
That was a good opportunity for the Pirates, but Fred Gray got a really important stick in.
Just couldn't quite get that the last pass.
It'll be interesting for Mark Victory tonight, coaching the Saints and coaching against the Pirates with a lot of his current Port Adelaide team in it. So he'll certainly know a lot about them.
Speaking of that current Port Adelaide team, I should have done a little bit more research, but how are they travelling in the league?
Very well, very well. They're if they're not top, they're very close to top, and I believe that the weekend after the long weekend where there's no matches, they play Adelaide, who are the other top team. So that'll be the clash of the round, maybe the clash of the season.
Because one of the There's a couple of players actually, and there's somebody missing from the Western Pirates who played last week. So they've got Ross Hettam who they brought across, but they brought somebody else over.
Andy Leet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Andy Leet is a recruit this year. He was a Burnside player who went to Sydney for a year. He's unavailable tonight, as is Scott Germain. I think he's the Port Adelaide captain, maybe. So yeah, there's a few out there or who aren't out there tonight who played in game 1.
Andy Leet was very, very impressive last week.
Yeah, no,
with him and Joyce and Hettam and Germain, they've certainly built a side.
They have, and Shittleburn in the net. So he was an Adelaide keeper, went to Perth for a year, and he's come back to Adelaide. He'd be one of the best keepers, if not the best keeper in the state. So yeah, they're going to have a tilt at the premiership for sure this year.
White fires it out to Penner. Penner does well eventually to wrangle it under control, then sends it down the line. One more down the line and then poked away. So the Pirates will be able to rebuild. Will Abbott sends it back all the way to Will Robbins. And to Joyce. Joyce will get his head up. Happy to come out to Robbins. Adelaide 1, Port Adelaide 2, Seacliff 3, I've just been told.
Oh, okay. There we go. So the top 2 teams will play in the next Premier League game.
My hockey elves work really well.
Don't they?
Good control eventually by Adam Lawrence. Must be one of the hardest jobs in hockey, trying to control a Cameron Joyce pass.
Yeah. He gets a bit of heat on the ball.
Was fired out just as a perfect example towards William Abbott. Couldn't quite get there. What was it Archimedes said? Give me a lever long enough and I could move the earth.
I'll take your word for it.
Just let Mr. Joyce at it with a lever.
Yeah, he's got long levers and he uses the ball to flick as well, so they'll be looking to earn some corners tonight.
I don't think we saw one last week. I think any team that's coming in, will be wary of that penalty corner. It's a good challenge in the circle to relieve some pressure, and then they will come out again to Josh Whittaker. Josh Whittaker has that one poked away, but they can go. Also been sent the women's ladder. Number 1, Port Adelaide. Number 2, Adelaide. Number 3, Seacliff. So
mirror image of the men's.
Well, the Port Adelaide men have lived in the Port Adelaide women's shadow for a fair amount of years now.
Haven't they?
So the Pirates coming out again. No, it wasn't Whittaker to Whittaker, but
that was Isaac Whittaker who couldn't handle the Dylan Edge pass. Yeah.
Our 2 Whittakers playing.
Is it Josh Whittaker? I think he's brother.
Both of them, yeah, Josh and Isaac.
Yeah.
Again, hard work up front by Will Abbott. Has he kept that in?
He did keep it in.
Has kept that in. Put the Saints under a huge amount of pressure. Certainly, obviously, a role that they've given Will Abbott. Just don't let the defenders rest on their laurels. So we enter the last minute of this first quarter. Another one that's flown by.
Oh.
Overhead to nobody.
I'm not sure who we saw there, but...
Well, the corner flag does have a tinge of red on it.
That's a good point.
He's mistaken that for a player.
Yeah, I think he got a bit of extra hook on it.
Saints looking to break. Don't get any further than Will Robbins. He'll send it forward. Again, they just sell it short. 2-on-2. Massey trying to make the third man. Massey comes, crosses the 25 now, looks into the circle. Gleeson had it cocked.
You don't really want to try and force the ball through Joyce. He's got the longest reach in the state, I think.
It's close to probably one of the longest reaches in hockey, you would say, isn't it? What is he, 6'8"?
Yeah, no, he's that's one of his great strengths, absolutely.
So there it is, quarter time. All honours even at the moment. No one really, I wouldn't say anyone's really taken the ascendancy, but 2 different styles of play.
Well, what did we see? We saw a lot of midfield action, probably a lack of quality in the front third to create chances. One good chance which fell to Will Abbott, which Damon Leng saved. No corners for either team. So, to be honest, I think it's a typical opening quarter where teams are trying to kind of pick up the style of play, work their way into the contest, and you often see that in the opening stanza, and things might unfold from here.
Well, it'll be interesting to see whether and again, I must apologise. Well, it'll be interesting to see whether the Pirates do go with what they did last week and change their goalkeeper at quarter time. If I do refer to them as Port Adelaide, it's not a Port Adelaide hockey bias. Port Adelaide in rugby union are called the Pirates, so again, it just kind of slips out. So if I call them Port Adelaide, that's the reason why. Not because I'm Magpies biased.
Okay, just putting that out there.
Yeah, I'd hate for people to think that I was biased towards the Magpies.
Yes.
I am a Port boy, but I am completely impartial when it comes to hockey.
Of course you are. You're a commentator.
So, unfortunately for us, I think Cheney is using the whiteboard on the wall, so we can't snoop.
No. And there's Jogger addressing or Mark DeLauro addressing his Pirates team.
See the Northeast coach.
He is the Seacliff coach, Mark
Seacliff
DeLauro.
coach, of course, he is. Premiership winning coach. I should have known that, shouldn't I?
Back-to-back premiership winning coach. So yeah, he's a great servant to the game. In this state, he went to Perth for a while and developed his coaching over there and taught over there, and he's come back and coached at high levels back here, and he's a really well-respected and well-regarded coach, as is Mark Victory with the other team.
So thank you very much for joining us at this Super League, Wednesday night Super League game, brought to you by Hockey SA and powered by Spacequake Sports. If you do have a question for either myself or Tim, then make sure you send it through. Also give us a like and make sure you share this video, so make sure that everyone can watch along with you. And we're about to get underway for this second 15 minutes. We are off and running, and again, Joyce will be the first to get the stick on. Binton manages to wrangle it in. Another big, strong challenge, that time from Daniel Haynes. I think part of the problem with Port Adelaide is they might only have 12 players. Yeah, heckled from the stands again. That's twice now.
I am getting heckled from the stands. Yeah, from a Kangaroo supporter of all things, but anyway.
So the Saints again will look to build an attack. Fired out to that far right-hand side. Out there to Simon Wells. Hettam again does well, and again Hettam. He loves that little drop-off pass. Just tried to pass it through. Big challenge in the circle of Penner and Massey. Penner, the definite winner on that one.
There's been, that's actually been one of the features of tonight's game. It's been a really physical contest with a lot of strong challenges.
And we love it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you think that hockey's a non-contact sport, you can still have a physicality, or you need a physicality.
Of course you do. It's like they say netball's non-contact. So the Saints again now will look to break Mitten against Joyce. Joyce will win that one.
Well, I don't know if he won that one, but I guess his aim was to stop the play, and stop the play he did.
Yeah. Massey looks for a circle entry. Gets one eventually. Swing and a miss. And carries on. The swing and the miss works. And Tom Cleghorn gets the first goal of the game. Everybody stopped. Then it kept going.
I'm not sure if it was. Yeah, it certainly wasn't a deliberate ploy by Cleghorn, and sometimes the umpires do call that up. If you have a swing in the circle and miss it, if there's players close enough, that can call it against you. But there may have been enough distance between him and the players, and he was allowed a second shot and put it straight through. Hazer, I think, still in the net there for.
Yeah, still the green pads
for the Pirates.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting one, because everyone stopped except Mr. Cleghorn. So now the Pirates have got some work to do.
Well, sometimes in our game we say that the game can really do with a goal, and this might open the contest up a bit.
Simon Wells will send it out to Simon Brown. Brown sends it down the line, but Penner can intercept, send it forward. Then White White looks to go down the line again, but Brown picks his pocket and wins the free hit. Oh, they're happy to play that one from there. And Hazer will bear down on his brother. Fires it towards the centres, bouncing around in there a little bit. White has to try and get rid of it. Doesn't want to be too clever. Edge gets it stolen off him by Mitten. Excellent work all the way through. Lovely little move from Cleghorn
again, looking to add to his goal tally.
Well, he's got some making up to do after the first attempt. It's not one he'll want to be remembered for tonight. Mitten again on the edge of the circle. Out towards Joyce. Joyce will slide it around the corner. Gets it back eventually. Joyce with a big overhead. He's asking a bit too much of everybody.
I think
that one will go all the way.
I think if Cleghorn shares his video on social media, he might do some careful editing, I think, to see the last stages of it.
Yes, certainly. Cox sends it out. We'll do that for him. We'll send it to him. We'll put it to Titanic music.
That's right.
So the Saints back to Cox. Again, the Saints happy to go around the back to Humphreys. Humphreys back to Cox. Cox fires it forward, finds Mitten. Mitten does well, but Penner manages to sort it out. But they will go again, back foot. That's a better save from Hazer.
Yeah, Fraser Bowden attacked the space. He's one of the fastest players out there, and he's got a good tomahawk on him. Didn't quite middle it, but it was a good save by Hazer. It was straight at him, but he had to deal with it.
To Gleeson. Gleeson beats a couple. That time he does earn the free hit. They've gone very, very quickly. White does well. Mitten again at the edge of the circle, working hard. Sent forward to Hettam. Hettam does well. Gets his head up early, then we'll come back to Edge. Edge will go to Whittaker. Edge trying to run himself out of trouble, sends it back to Penner. And it will go all the way out from Penner. Good control out on that far wing. Hettam turns well. Good challenge from Cox. Now the Saints will look to break away. Pirates will look to launch again. Edge will cross halfway. Looks for an inside ball. Gets an inside ball. Bounces around and they'll get the free hit. They go quickly with Isaac Whittaker. Sends it out on the right hand side. Looking at another circle entry. Robbins has to try and turn on a sixpence. Very well done by Whittaker. Josh Whittaker working down on the byline. And eventually will be an Eastern Saints free hit. Just want to talk a little bit about Jimmy Mitten, who looks a little bit unco at times, but geez, he gets some work done when he plays up that front. He's difficult to deal with. Arms and legs everywhere.
Yeah. I think he reminds me of Kramer from Seinfeld, but I've never seen Kramer play hockey though. But
I would imagine he plays a little worse than Jimmy Mitten.
But no, he is an effective striker, Jimmy Mitten, and we might see him in action here.
Well, Wells does well. They are 3-on-1. What can Mitten do? Can he pick a pass? He can pick a pass to Wells, to Gleeson. Gleeson will score. Goal number 2 of the night for the Saints.
Well, that was, I'm not sure what happened to the Pirates' defence, but all of a sudden they found themselves with a genuine 3-on-1 against them, and often teams struggle to actually make good choices in those situations, but that was perfectly played by the Saints. Simon Wells did the right thing, getting it across the face, and was it Gleeson sliding in on the back post?
It was a Gleeson special. I think he scores the vast majority of his goals from that position.
Oh, well, got to be there to put them in.
But as we talked about Jimmy Mitten, he did make the right decision.
He did, and there was nothing unconventional about that at all. He just did exactly what he should have done.
So White will send it out to Hettam. Hettam will fire it in field. Comes off of an Eastern States 6, so Eastern Saints stick.
There we go.
Jeez, he'd make it hard work. Another circle entry for the Pirates, still bouncing around their edge. Manages to take a swing at goal. The Saints will get away with it and will get the free hit.
this is a good response from the Saints. They were comfortably beaten. I can't remember the scoreline. It was like 7-1
It was a lot.
or something like that in the opening match against the Storm. And then last week it was a 2-1 victory to the Storm over the Pirates, I believe, when I was interstate. But they've responded really well tonight, the Saints.
Well, again, it goes to show that this Super League, you can't predict anything.
No.
Because the way that the Pirates played last week and the way that the Saints played in round one, you would suggest that this would be a very one-sided game again to the Pirates, but Saints have come out and shown that they are worthy of being in this Super League.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we've noted a couple of times, there are 2 or 3 key players out of the Pirates team tonight, which has probably just upset their balance a little bit.
And let's not forget as well that this Saints side is a lot of players from the Adelaide Hockey Club who were grand finalists last year, so there's pedigree there.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So Hazer will run down the line and then send it one more to William Abbott, and Abbott works hard down the byline. Good challenge coming, is still in the circle though, and Hazer will be able to bring it out. Six minutes to go in the second quarter, so 6 minutes to half time, 6 minutes to before the coaches can get hold of them again. Wells does well. Let down somewhat by Brodie Gleeson.
Yeah, it was actually a little opportunity there. If it had been slipped back to Simon Wells, he did really well to control that aerial and slip it to Gleeson.
Joyce will get it under control and he'll go back to Penner. Penner sends it forward to Isaac Whittaker. Isaac Whittaker dumps it forward, but again the Saints can come away. Free hit, so the Saints will be able to come away from their own 25.
It's a pretty important last 5 minutes of the half. The Saints have done well to work their way to a good lead at this point of the game, and if they can take that into half time, they'll be really happy.
Again down the line to Brown. Brown will get his head up. Happy to come back to Cox. Cox sends it all the way across. And we'll get it back.
And again, they'll be happy to do this, just to keep possession for a while.
Oh, first time ball just too far in front. He knew it as soon as he let it go, Simon Brown.
Yeah, it was a well-worked outletting pattern by the Saints team by pushing Rafe Thompson up.
Interception just outside the 25. Another Eastern Saints break, but that one was smothered eventually. And Joyce looks for Penner, but he's under a fair amount of pressure from Mitten and company. And again, it's going to come back early. James Humphreys happy to go all the way back to Bowden. Bowden sends it to Wells. Did well eventually. Made a meal of it, but has sorted it out. Wells against White. Is it stolen off him by Hetton, but there is a free hit. Now Bowden will go early. Bowden happy to go back to Wells. Almost sold him short a little bit, but Wells will come all the way back to Robert Kane. Kane will slip it around the back and Wells will get it eventually. Switches all the way across to the right-hand side of the field for the Saints. And then they will slow it down. 3.5 minutes to go.
It would be good to get Nimeke's stats again at half-time of this contest. It seems to me as though the Saints have taken charge of this contest and have had more possession and more 25 entries, but we'll see if we get the stats at half-time to have a look.
Cox again. Now that time it is nicked by Joyce. How quickly can they go? Joyce at full flight. We saw the Cox versus Joyce competition, and to say on the points decision, that one went to Joyce.
Well, Coxie kind of put out his backside to try and stop Joyce's progress, but Joyce evaded him. But
I
then
think he just stepped over him, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe with the long legs.
So Penner all the way back in that back corner. Sends it across. I think the pressure from Massey did enough to unsettle the Pirates defender, and then Massey will go again. Send it back to Rafe Thompson. worried off it really by Whitaker. Then it will come out to Edge. Edge steps backwards, then we'll find Hettam. Hettam showed one way, went the other, fires it forward, but again, just a little bit too heavy for Josh Whitaker.
Both teams would be pretty happy when the half-time siren blows. I think it's been a pretty frantic pace.
So Gray is back, patrolling the midfield now. Sends it to Thompson. Thompson sends it down the line. Again, just worried out of it. Now Gleeson fires it towards goal. Just got underneath it a little bit too much. Used a pitching wedge when he needed a 7-iron.
Well, he really needed a 2-iron to try and knock it to the back post to Jimmy Mitten, I think. So
he just needed to return the favour.
He did.
Well, he is on a goal bonus.
From you?
No, he gets a nugget every time he scores.
Right, a chicken one.
Just a chicken nugget.
Right.
That's worth gold to Brody.
Oh, it would be.
Joyce, inside ball, finds its way through. And all the way across. Hettam does well, but well, I thought he did well.
I think it just came up into his body, I think, off his stick.
His ability to move in confined space is very impressive.
Hettam?
Yeah, over the last couple of weeks.
He looks like a quality player, and I think he does some good work in front of the net, so he hasn't had a chance to show that yet.
Both of the Super League games we've seen him in, he's played like an attacking midfielder kind of role. Haven't seen him as a striker yet. Score remains the same, we may do. Gone over the top to Joyce. A little bit of a giggle because I don't think anyone could have got up there.
That's a clever little aerial when you just go over one player.
Starting to show that they are gelling as a team as well, because it was just an unspoken signal between Joyce and Penner. They knew exactly what they were doing together, so they're starting to bed in, and that is half-time. So the half-time score, the Saints 2, the Pirates 0. First goal was an interesting one, out of left field a little bit with the swing and the miss and everybody stopping. But the second goal, very, very well worked. 3-on-1 break. It's almost something you would work on in training, those 3-on-1 breaks and the passing between the three of you and the running the diagonals. And Brody Gleeson, friend of the show, will be doing a lot of work with me on Public Holiday Monday, will Brody?
Oh, yes.
We've got 6 games running live for you
on Monday.
in the zones. And on Monday there'll be 6 games coming at you live.
And Brody will be working with you?
All day,
Very
I think.
good.
So we will take a well-earned break and we'll be back with you just after this very short break. Make sure you give us a like and share of this Super League Wednesday, brought to you by Hockey SA and powered by Spacequake Sports.
To be the quickest.
Most dangerous.
Most resilient.
To play for glory. For pride. To thrill.
So welcome back to the State Hockey Centre at Jepp's Cross, and just because the internet on my laptop is gone, I've checking Facebook and checking the comments on Facebook. William McDonald says he's back in the Pirates for a comeback. He said, "You're going to knock Brody Gleason down a peg." It's not very fair. Burnside Hockey Club saying awesome start, and Michelle Joyce saying happy birthday, Joycey.
Oh,
well, there we go.
There's a scoop.
We had no idea. Kept it quiet on us.
And surprise, surprise, he's out on the hockey pitch on his birthday. So
Yeah, he'd love it. And I think that's obviously his better half, or his sister, one of the two.
Who was it again?
Michelle Joyce.
I think that's his mum, isn't it?
Is that his mum?
I believe so.
Oh.
But that's a guess, though.
Well, that's even worse. Should be out having dinner with your mum, Joycey.
The Pirates have changed their goalie at half time, so
Chittleborough is going to have a half.
we've got Ed Chittleborough in the net.
With the now familiar R call.
Is that right?
Yep, that's what they're doing. They've done it every game so far.
Great.
Not sure the girls do it, but the boys love it.
Yep. Have we seen any eye patches or anything? Or?
Well, Ben Massey's wearing one.
That's right, he's for the wrong team.
He's after his transfer. I do like Simon Wells sporting the yellow headband. If you're going to wear a headband, make sure we can see it.
Yep. Wellsy, he likes his hair.
So we are off and running. Third quarter, the Premiership quarter. Can the Pirates do anything, or will the Saints increase their lead? Gleason will fire it forward and cut off by Penner. The Saints again all the way out there, far side of the State Hockey Centre. Comes closer with Brown, and Penner again reads the game very, very well and gets his stick in the right place. That one just slipped out to the Saints. Carry on, and he will go all the way back to Cox. Cox directing traffic from the back, sends it all the way out to Hazer. Hazer looks to move forward. Working in a confined space, and Joyce goes down like a mighty oak.
He's quite renowned for ending up on the pitch often during matches. Joycey loses his footing a bit.
So the Saints again looking to get in, and Wells down in that far right-hand corner has it poked away from him. And he'll keep going. Showed one way, went the other. And we'll send it back. Good circle entry, but Edge will be able to bring it away. Edge looks to move forward, but cut off eventually. And sent back into Angus Fry. Fry will send it back to Gray. Gray will send it back out to Brown. Brown has Massey presenting for him and finds him, but Penner again. Right place at the right time. To Gray.
Well, the Saints have started the second half how they finished the first half, with control of the game.
Fired out to Thompson. Thompson will do his best to run around William Abbott. Thompson then goes back to Hazer. Gives it back to Gray. And Gray goes back to Cox. We'll send that out to Thompson.
That's a beautiful tomahawk into the net, into the circle, and Massey, I think, got a touch on it.
Penner out to the far side. Good control. Knocked it a fair bit in front of him. Has to beat Hazer to the ball, which he does. Has Abbott available for him. Ignores Abbott. Goes towards the centre, and Cox poked the first one away. Again, good work around in that circle. Umpire keeps his whistle away. Brown poked it through the legs of Abbott. Wells can lift his head and try and come away. Sends it in field to Gleason. Gleason with the overhead to that corner flag over there again.
And he subs himself off for that.
So unconventionally for hockey, Dan Cox likes to wear his captain's armband on his arm.
Well,
Most
that's
people
right.
seem to wear it on the sock.
You
As
do-
Mitten will intercept. Bear down on the 25. Creates another little mini break. Tries to come back inside. Doesn't quite get there. Sends Lawrence sprawling, and Penner will just clear it away.
Well, I mean, Dave, I think you could probably work out why Coxie likes to wear it on his arm. Why would you think that would be the case?
I've no idea, to be honest. I don't know why hockey players wear it on their legs for a start.
I think Coxie probably thinks it makes his bicep look a little larger, I think.
I'm with you. Where's the junior one?
That's right. I'll have a small thanks, coach.
Yeah, Joyce fires it forward. No one gets anywhere near it. He will have been disappointed he didn't get to choose a shirt size.
That's right.
Give us the smallest one you got. Sent all the way out to that far side, and just miscontrolled by Thompson.
I was just about to say that he's having a good game tonight, Rafe Thompson.
Hannah sends it to Joyce. Joyce just switches a gear and runs through 3, then runs past the 3rd one and keeps going. Joyce, can he finish on his birthday? Good save by, is it still Damon Lang? I'm assuming so.
That is Damon Lang, and it was a good save. He just needed to basically get himself positioned correctly, and he was in the right place at the right time. But a scything run through the middle by Joyce, and he is extremely dangerous when he gets into this mode.
Deserved something, you would say, Mr. Joyce. Thompson sends it into Gray. Gray will get his head up. Can't turn her back because Hetton was stalking him like a South African lion stalks a gazelle.
Great.
Penner deep down in that corner, which normally would be an issue, but not for Mr. Penner, as the overhead goes flying into the night sky, dropping out. Cox allowed to do it so that he didn't give away the free hit. And they can build the pressure again from here. Into midfield, played round the corner by Cleghorn, the goal scorer.
And Wells just hit that straight into his teammate's leg, Fraser Bowden. He didn't look all that pleased with it.
Again, the Pirates outnumbered in attack, but they'll send it out to Abbott. Abbott tries to run around the back of Humphreys, but Humphreys does well.
He's got a good eye, James Humphreys. He's a good defender.
Joel Cumming asking whether any of these people are over 35. In the commentary box we are.
Well and truly. That's an interesting question. I would say no. How old's Coxie? Is he the elder statesman out there?
I think he would be close to, if not the.
Actually, I don't even think he's close to. I think he's definitely.
Glenn Tamlin plays for the Southern Stormers.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most experienced players out there.
Yeah. So, yeah, interesting question. Maybe that whoever asked that question is wondering whether anyone can play in the Masters team with him or something.
I'm sure they would be allowed. End up with a Masters team like your Adelaide side.
Actually, that's correct. Actually, Tom Cleghorn, number 14 for the Saints, he would challenge Coxie for the most experienced player out there, I believe.
Joel Cumming was asking if you know who that is.
Don't know him.
So again, the Saints looking to build from the back. Thompson sends it out on the right-hand side. Then it will be fired across the front of goal. And
so it was
Wells was at the back post.
Yeah, it was. Great ball from Robbie Kane, and a really good opportunity for Wells. Just went past the near post of Chittleborough. I think for the Pirates to get back into the contest, Cameron White has to have more influence.
White will find a pass. And then the outlet pass just splits two Pirate players. Done a little bit of Facebook stalking, and I can't find a date of birth for Coxie.
Someone will help us.
If someone can help us with...
There's no way he's over 35. I'm going to say that now.
You're going to say no to the over 35?
Yes.
The Pirates will cut out that little attempted aerial. Abbott again beats the first one. Sits the first one down. We'll send it back to Lawrence. Lawrence happy to come all the way back. Try and rebuild again from the back. Deflection. And the free hit. Out to Wells. I would imagine as well that my hockey elves will be scurrying around in the background to try and find the ages of these people going on the hockey registrations and
that's right,
working it out. There's a little bit of a limp from Rafe Thompson. Hopefully it's not too serious. That's a very, very good ball. Outlet to the left-hand side in Hettam if he wants him. Has found Hettam. Hettam towards the byline, pulls it back, shot on goal. Good save by again Damon Lang working hard in there, and then Gleeson will turn away from White.
That was a really well executed opportunity. Hettam made a beautiful pass to, I think it was Will Abbott maybe, I'm not sure who had the shot, but Damon Lang actually read it off the stick and was covering it well on his left side.
Gleeson again will find the point of the circle and then comes off a Pirate stick, so they've got to work hard to keep it in. Joyce is going to work down into that corner. Very, very confined space for Joyce to work, but gets the 16-yard hit eventually, and they can come away from there. Fired forward again, but Hazer will cut out the first one. Can't keep it in. Again, just an example of the power that Joyce gets when he gets a stick on it.
Yeah, I mean
these boys can control a hockey ball.
Yeah, but Hazer struggled to control that one.
That's just rushed from Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what he saw.
Again, these corner flags.
Yeah, I'm not sure who got that shot away.
Down the line from the Saints, and that's a lot of Jimmy Mitten, but he did okay. Mitten will go. Poked away from initially, but he keeps going and finds Wells. That makes a clever little run away from Wells' left. Still bouncing around that circle. Mitten, good goal. Keeping by Chilterborough. Massey has a swing and a miss. 2 balls, 1 strike for Massey.
Chitterer will love that moment. I reckon he almost loaded up a little bit on his left foot, and so he could actually propel himself and make the save look even better than it was.
One for the cameras. So the Saints again, as per usual, happy to come all the way back. And they will go out onto that far side to Humphreys. Humphreys thought about going back, then we'll turn Hettam around. Good inside ball, good challenge by Joyce. Gets his head up. Fires it across again. We just see the power of Joyce. Hettam has had it stolen off him though. Then they will go out to Wells. Wells struggles to get it under control, but finally does. Starts bearing down on the byline, but circle entry cut off by White. Happy to send it back. Sent it out to White, and White will go. Again, not much room for anybody.
They've looked a little bit too direct, I think, at times, the Pirates, and the Saints have had the central corridor pretty well covered.
Brown sends it out to Wells again. Wells just happy to bash it across. Chittleborough does well again.
That was a great ball by Wells, and Angus Fry was in a really good position, just failed to get his stick on the ball.
Again, Chittleborough tested, and it will be a long corner. Big smile on his face. You can see underneath the mask he's having fun out there, that young man.
Eddie, yeah, he's an interesting character, good keeper.
I think you have to be an interesting character to be a goalkeeper, don't you?
Very much, yes.
good mate Dutchy's not here tonight, heckling you.
No, Dutchy was here.
I know he'll be here because he will have been taking the under-21 goalkeeper training, won't he?
Exactly. He took a session with Amy. He stayed and watched the girls' game, and I think he was going to sit in the comfort in his living room and watch the live stream of the second game. So g'day to Dutchy.
We hope you are watching, Dutchy. We'll have to get him on the mic one day.
Well, I actually said that to him tonight, so I'd love to hear him on the microphone.
Joyce, little reverse pass through. A little bit of conversation with the umpire. Who would win? Police officer or an umpire?
Well, it's still going. It's
neither one of them will back down.
And the umpire won it.
Big overhead, and Joyce got to stick to it, but put it in a better position for the Saints. Great haircut, Simon Wells from Jack Dowling. Dan Haynes is trying to break his 6-week drought.
Okay.
Not sure what his drought is, but anyway, the Saints again find the byline. Big tomahawk, another long corner.
The Saints trying to add to their 2-goal lead with in the final minute of the quarter.
Goals from Gleeson and Cleghorn are the difference between the two teams. So they go back to Cox. Cox sends it out to the far left-hand side. To Gray, showed a pass, then came inside and fooled everybody, including his own teammate out there.
Yeah, Robbie Kane, I think.
Another overhead, wonderful control by Hettam, and then reverse stick, and again, look, just a little bit too clever for his own teammate. So that is the end of the third quarter, no change. Saints 2, Pirates 0. Incredible save, we just saw another one. Hopefully we'll get to see it again from young Mr. Chuttleborough, who's got the number 18 taped onto his back. You haven't given me a number, I'm going to make one.
And yes, he has. And Joyce, he's still going on with the umpire.
Well, that's right. It's the, what is it, the immovable force?
That's right. Two worlds colliding there. Joyce has finally given up.
Oh, I don't know. I think he just has to. I think he'll probably start that one again at the start of the fourth quarter, and then I'm surely after the... Oh, now Chittleborough's
he's left it to Chittleborough to take it up.
Yeah. So I wonder what the questioning is.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering what they're questioning, and to be honest, why they would be bothered at this stage. You've got a 2-minute break. You've got a minute 20 left now, so need to think about how you're going to win the game.
Yeah, we're unlikely to put that time back on the clock and go back to what they were talking about.
That is highly unlikely. So Mark DeLauro trying to rally his troops for a final go at it with a 2-goal deficit to make up. Cheney's got them at the whiteboard by the look of it again.
He's not one for being in front of the camera, is he, Cheney? He stays hidden.
Have not seen him all night.
Yeah, he's almost like Bigfoot, camera shy.
That's right. Does he exist?
Well, I've never seen him and Bigfoot in the same room.
There we go. We might be onto something.
So, as far as goalkeepers go, we were talking about Dutchy. As far as goalkeepers go, I like what he's seeing at the moment. Leng has done very, very well. Chittleborough, I'm sure he'll be reminding Mr. Hazer, as he's kept a clean sheet through this quarter.
Yeah, he has.
I think they are sharing their goalkeepers around, definitely the Pirates. They played them a quarter each. Each way last time, and it looks like they've gone to half and half. One question of concern would be Rafe Thompson. I think we see him in the background, just with a little bit of ice on that quad.
Yeah, he is, and that would be a concern. He's, I mentioned before, he's playing a good game tonight, and he's a member of the under-21 state team, which are going away to Sydney in about 4 weeks' time. So one would hope that that's just a bit of a knock and not a strain.
Yeah, and I wonder, thank you, I'd say thank you to my camera operator who's just wrangled in my team sheets. I'm wondering the psychology behind Ed Chittleborough's, what do we call that, a blocker? Which has got a target on it.
There it is, yeah. Sometimes the keepers do have that. So,
and so I think as we're almost ingrained to aim for a target.
Yeah, hit me there.
Hit me right here. So, 15 minutes stand between the Western Pirates and their second loss of the competition. On the reverse of that, 15-minute stand between the Saints and their first victory of the competition, and you would have to say, as far as improvement goes from the last time they came out, 100%. They were, they won't mind me saying, they were poor.
Yeah, they
in
were.
round one, and they knew they were poor.
Yep. But full credit to them to come out and take charge of this match and deserve the lead. But you know, if Joyce can have some influence, if Cameron White can get more of it in the middle, then we might see a change in the game still.
There we see the skills of White, and they were playing advantage. Mr. Gleeson, who is a teacher, shows respect to the umpires. Just had a little look at him, a little teacher look, and then ran away. He's not angry, he's just disappointed. One of those looks.
That's it.
Penner will send it out to Joyce. Joyce fires it forward. Mitten gets in the way of it, bravely. Then we'll go and do a little bit more work. Edge has it stolen off him. Mitten will move forward for him and gets there and asked a lot of him, but Mitten does very, very well to send it forward. Well done, Mr. Chittleborough, to come and close down that angle and prevent the third goal of the night. I think that was Angus Fry who was bearing down on the Mitten. Again, we'll send it forward. Little touch from Penner.
Yeah, well,
Chittleborough had to deal with it.
It was beautifully worked, and they're in again here, the Saints. That may be a corner.
First one of the night.
But going back to that opportunity for Fry, it was well set up by a ball through from Mitten, and Chittleborough came off his line beautifully. And a clever shot, but well saved. But here's a chance now for the third goal.
Well, Mitten's been impressive tonight. I think he was impressive round one as well. Again, one of the few shining lights from the Eastern Saints side.
Yep, so Cox and Gleeson both have threats from the top, and both are setting up on battery 1 and battery 2 respectively.
With Fry and Humphreys in the stopper position. My eyesight's not good enough to tell you who the injector is.
Fraser Bowden.
So Bowden with the injection. Injection comes towards Cox. Good stop, drag flick. Just a little bit too high. One less Weetabix tomorrow morning, Coxie.
He'll be disappointed with that one, and disappointment was written over his face as he ran back.
Penner with a great outlet ball to Hettam. Hettam has running options. Oh, just couldn't control it. Dylan Edge's a groan goes up behind us. As we say that, actually, I must say that it has been very well attended here tonight.
Yeah, it has. It's great to see people out here. And it's really good hockey to watch, so I encourage anyone to come out for the remaining matches.
Then go home and watch it all again in the warmth of your front room.
Exactly.
Another circle entry.
But that was a great opportunity for Dylan Edge, but yeah, it was the classic sort of spent it before he had it. I think he was thinking about the next thing.
So Cox just inside the Pirates' half, happy to send it, and then he'll retreat to the safety of his own half again. He will send it out on this side to Robert Kane. Kane will fire it forward, intercepted by Hettam. What can Hettam do now? Just drops it off to Robbins. Robbins will send it out to the left-hand side to Haynes. Haynes has a run if he can find it. Just couldn't beat Cox, who had read it well.
Yeah,
will go for a long corner. Hettam against Cox. This time he fired it forward, but Cox is a man who doesn't care about getting hit by a ball.
No.
Plays a lot of indoor hockey, so I think he's used to it.
Yeah, but the indoor balls are lighter, so you don't want to get hit by an outdoor ball.
Fired forward towards Gleeson. Gleeson manages to get hold of it, then look for Wells. Just a little bit too strong for Wells.
I mean, Gleeson was in acres of space, and he probably should have just attacked that space rather than fed the ball.
White against Gleeson, beats Gleeson. White against Wells, happy to drop it back off. There we go, that's the challenge we came to see. Now we are going with Bowden. Bowden will send it out wide to Fry. Fry waits for it to get in the circle. Gleeson hanging around at the back of the baseline. Couldn't quite get it across, gets cut off by Lawrence. Then they will come back out towards Cleghorn. Cleghorn has it nicked off him. And it will get to Joyce.
I'm still thinking about the clash between Joyce and Cox, and
Joyce will go on his front and send it out. Then it will go one more to Hettam. Hettam gets a circle entry, fires it towards the back of the circle, and again the Saints can leave, and then it will send it out to Wells. Wells fires it across, and finally we can talk about that challenge.
Oh, it was a great challenge. I'd love to see a replay of it, but I actually kept watch of that as the ball went forward, and I was waiting to see whether the two of them had a little exchange or a little pat on the back, but they both kind of looked a little bit begrudgingly at each other and ran away without much love for each other, I think.
The clash of the Titans. Cameron White against Massey. Can't beat Gleeson. It's becoming a little battle between Gleeson and White. That will be sent forward to Massey. Massey will send it out to Bowden. Bowden looks forward to Gleeson. Gleeson does well, knocks it on to Fry. And again, kudos to Chittleborough. Out quickly. Very, very difficult to score from that angle when the keeper is right in your face.
Yeah, that's a feature of Eddie Chittleborough's keeping. He gets off his line. He's a really aggressive keeper. It was really well worked by the Saints, but forced the shot wide from Fry.
Good overhead, puts the Pirates on the front foot straight away. Now they will get to the baseline. Now they will get a penalty corner. They did. Now there is a question because Joycey was about to come off.
Well, Joycey actually did come off. Interesting, but Haynes was really smart. He actually didn't step on, so I imagine that's fine. I mean, if Joyce has come off, the sub hasn't come on.
Because that would have been absolutely terrible timing. Wait, there is some discussion going on down in the technical bench. It may as well be French to me.
Well, Brodie Gleeson seems to be telling Dan Haynes that he shouldn't have been allowed to step back on, but I mean, you often step off on them.
Joyce and Penner at the top of the batteries. It is going to go to Joyce. Joyce will fire it forward. Good save, still bouncing around. Hetton will get it and Hetton will score. They have dragged one back from the penalty corner. Mr. Gleeson and probably none of the Saints will be happy, and now Joyce will come off.
With a big smile on his face.
With a wry smile on his face. Now there's some discussion between the two benches.
Maybe Joyce is having a crack with his club coach Cheney right now, which is great to see.
Out to Bowden. Bowden chasing it down. That's what we like to hear. And then it's easy for Mitten. Mitten turned. Copped one in the back, I think, but...
well, it's been an action-packed final quarter. Another great save by Chittleborough, but down the other end, we didn't even mention it, that it was a really clever finish by Hetton.
It very much so was. I think everyone expected him to just let fly, and he didn't, and it kind of bounced around. Cox with a...
Cox did let fly.
He did let fly. Here we go, we get to see it now. Good save initially, and then he just poked it through, Hetton.
Yeah, smart finish on his backhand.
Cool, calm, collected.
There's a message comes through to me that someone thinks that Cox is around 34. So
oh, well, there we go.
Approaching 35.
Okay.
That's unconfirmed, though.
Well, he'll be a hell of a pickup for the Adelaide Masters team, won't he?
Yeah, we'll have him. We're not the Masters team.
No, you know, what are you, Meti 5?
Well, no, we got promoted. We're Meti 4s. We'll be Premier League in 4 years. So.
Wouldn't put it past you. Dutchie plays in goal for that one, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's having a year off just to try and lengthen his career. So.
Oh, there you go. Cox will find Bowden. Bowden will fire it forward to Mitten. Mitten can find a good ball across. Jeez, Massey was close.
End to end.
Oh, it's incredible. Again, they will go, and Edge flicks it down the line. Waited for a whistle, none coming. Fred Gray will send it forward. Nice little one-touch pass to Gleeson. Gleeson, just let fly and found Hetton. Hetton will look forward now. Hetton has Rob Abbott in the middle. Just ran out of time and space, but gets the free hit.
Yeah, when you're 2-1 up with 7 minutes to go, you don't want to give that ball up like.
Hetton gets to the byline, shifts it across, gets another corner.
They're having a bit of a go at the Pirates, aren't they?
Certainly are. That's what we want to see. There's 7 minutes left.
Plenty of time.
Scored 10 goals in that time. To the right-hand side. So it's reminded me of the point I was going to make, but they kind of get lost with the speed of this game. If you manage to break through these very, very good defences, you're then faced with very, very good goalkeepers.
Yeah, absolutely. And Leng did well on that last one, but Hetton got the rebound in.
Off again, and there is Hetton. Interesting ball through. Hazer did well to bring it down into control behind him. Hetton happy for it to run out. Then we'll come all the way back. And oh, that's just a little bit of a loose pass from Will Robbins.
They call him Will Robbins. I've always called him Billy Robbins, but anyway.
Oh, I've shortened it from William. I feel William's a little bit formal.
Okay.
Billy Robbins it is then. Hazer, massive overhead. Oh, no whistle. 2 players in attendance, no whistle. That was always going to be a solid challenge. Won by the Saints, out to Massey. Massey will try and find a player in the middle. Another penalty corner, second one of the night for the Eastern Saints. Just check the substitutions, make sure no one's sneaking on or off.
No controversy on this one.
So I'm assuming once the whistle's blown, you then can't make a change.
Correct. Back in the day, there was a period where you could actually sub on a player for a corner, and so they effectively had corner specialists.
Well, it was changed because of Australia, wasn't it? Because you had a corner specialist who basically scored every time he came on.
Well, there was a really well-known Dutchman as well. There's Cheney and Joycey having a bit of banter on the sideline.
He did appear. He's crawled
so
out.
He is here. Yeah.
He's crawled out of his dugout to have a go at Joycey. So the injection comes, the stop comes, Cox drags it, Mitten at the back post, does everything he can to keep it in, and he does, sends it towards the back, Chittleborough. Miraculous from Chittleborough, I think that got both his legs.
He's had a really good half of hockey, Chittleborough.
Cox will send it out to Humphreys. Someone's stick goes flying, and Gleeson working hard down in there, just lifts it into the circle, still bouncing around in there, and Gleeson goes and gets it, but it's a free hit to the Pirates. Pirates now probably have to keep working. Penner, big overhead. Cox does well. Cox fires it forward, and anywhere will do, you would think, at the moment. Chittleborough now working as a ball kick coach, telling them to go quicker. White out by the 25. Another little overhead. Came off a Saint stick, but it will end up with Gleeson. Gleeson will send it one down the line. Mitten has worked into a good position in the middle. Saints go byline. Pirates are doing everything they can to try and get out. Wells lifts it over to Hazer.
So we've got Mark Deloro standing on the sideline with the pink bib, so...
Someone's going. I'm just trying to listen to what he's saying. I can only just about hear him picked up on our effects mic.
I'd be surprised. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Joycey was given a bit more of a forward role. Although he has taken the bib on, put the bib on.
Oh, is he going to go and give the bib to someone else?
I think maybe Penner might take the bib.
Put it out, please.
And then Joyce might play a roaming kind of midfield forward role here, I think.
So the call from Mark Delaro was we've got plenty of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, will it work in this one? We saw it in the last game. Didn't work.
Yes, I made the comment that I haven't seen it work often, but let's hope it does, just for the sake of the game.
Hazer. Cox rattles through a challenge. And Hazer gets in the way again. Gleeson with a little bit of a lazy challenge, but gets there eventually. Lovely turn by White. White makes a circle entry, does very, very well. Waits on a whistle, nothing comes. Clever running line from Wells. Gleeson does well to corral it in eventually. Under a little bit of pressure. And then gives it up to Hetton. Of the players you want to give it to, Hetton isn't one of them. Still bouncing around in there. Abbott does everything he can. Another strong challenge, and Abbott comes out on the losing side of that.
This, watching the intensity of the coaches and the players, there's no question that this Super League comp is meaningful for these players and coaches.
Certainly does. If it didn't mean anything, nobody would be complaining about Joycey, because everyone wants to see Joycey.
Yes.
At a penalty corner time.
Right, what can they do here?
Mitten, he is going to get a circle entry. Can he finish? No! Still not in there. Still not in there. That is defending, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you do it.
Yeah, off the right post somehow.
Did it come off a stick onto the right post?
It came off something, I think.
Wells. Looks back to Gray. Gray sends it back to Wells. Wells again looking for a circle entry. Did he turn that behind?
He did.
Long corner.
For a long.
That's an incredible challenge. I'm just trying to say, I think it's the number 16, Billy Robbins. It's gone all the way to Cox. There's no point in Port Adelaide standing back and waiting for them to come to them. They've got to get out.
That's the Pirates he means, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. Off the post again.
Great. Oh, I think that was a save
was it off his foot?
By the stand-in keeper, and he's obviously allowed to use his feet. He has goalkeeper rights. He might hear again.
No, he's look for the overhead. The overhead comes. Nobody really about there. He's sort of dependent on Cox not being able to get it under control. He does eventually. Abbott has to chase down and keep working. Then they will look in field.
The Pirates have
Pirates
to commit more players forward. They only had one up there.
You have to trust that Penner's going to do his job. Bowden sends it in board to Cleghorn. Cleghorn will send it all the way out. Joyce, who really hasn't done much in this period when they've had the extra player on.
He probably only needs one chance. If they slip it out to him now, he might get involved.
Here he goes. Gets his head up early. Can he pick a pass? He'll come back. Again, he's just got to wrangle that ball under control. He does, and then he sends it just a little bit too far in front. And Daniel Haynes will want that one back. 1 minute, 15 seconds to go on the stadium clock. The overhead, not an option. Then they will go down the line. Wells does very well. Now there is options everywhere for Wells. Sends it forward, and Penner also keeping a clean sheet in this quarter.
He's doing very well.
Again, can they find an outlet? They
Great
do
ball.
find an outlet. Out to Hettam, I think that is. Hettam runs forward, wanted the give back. Don't chase that one, son. We've got ball kids. They'll go again. Abbott sends it down the line to Joyce. Joyce just fires it across.
Well,
Billy Robbins was there. Just throw anything at it, Billy.
He did, and Lang tried to get a kicker on it, but it got past him, and it was opportunity for the Pirates.
A white streak across the face of goal, and Billy Robbins just needed to get anything on it. Another overhead. That's going to come back. Lawrence just flicks it forward. Again, a good challenge by White. White versus Wells. We'll send it back to Lawrence. Lawrence will send it out to Abbott. Abbott has shouts of pressure. Cox does well. Still in the circle. Anywhere will do. And Pirates have given up on that because no one will get it in. What a finish to a game, ladies and gentlemen. The Saints go marching on, winning the next one 2-1. Pirates losing that one. You are watching with interest as to whether there's any conversation between the two coaches, but out of that one, the Pirates just losing out. I think there was a little bit of a word between Cheney and Mark DeLauro.
It was all in good spirits. So,
cordial.
It was a thoroughly enjoyable game of hockey.
So, next week for the Storm, the Saints are coming. Pirates unfortunately will miss, but as we've seen, that doesn't really mean anything in this Super League. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been an absolutely wonderful night of hockey, and the way that this the curve is going is going to be even better next week, ladies and gentlemen. We will speak to you then. As always, I've been Dave Webb. Joining me tonight, Tim White. Thank you very much. And your thoughts finally on that game?
As I said, I thought it was a really high-quality game of hockey. Saints controlled it for periods of time, but Pirates were dangerous, and it went down to the wire with a chance in the last 30 seconds, which they didn't take. So well done to the Saints for getting their first win.
So, ladies and gentlemen, until next week, we will speak to you again. Thank you for joining us on Facebook to watch this Super League Wednesday night. Brought to you by Hockey SA and powered by Spacequake Sports.